There's no boundaries in North Carolina. The only boundary on North Carolina is listed as the Atlantic Ocean. There's no boundaries between Virginia and South Carolina and Tennessee. And if we went and we found, because of this, we went and we dug up in the archives the old original maps, and the old original maps, North Carolina was Tennessee, all the way over to the Mississippi, and South Carolina went all the way over to the Mississippi, and Virginia went all the way over to the Mississippi.
Oof.
Yeah. And we got the archive actual maps, and they reduced them down because they were huge, and they reduced them down for us, and we got them certified.
What?
And then when you look in the North Carolina Constitution, and it is really funny, in a way, that when we approached the lawyers down there in Raleigh, they didn't know what to say. They actually had no idea why it was written that way, and I'm trying to find it right now. The Constitution of North Carolina. It says basically they will be as they were. That's the definition of the boundaries of North Carolina.
And where would mean they go out to the Mississippi?
Yeah.
And what year was that map created? Do you remember offhand?
1700 and something.
So they're holding to this creation of a state and its parameters that was back in the 18th century.
Yeah. They do have it. I'm trying to see if it's what article. Like I say, I have it on my. I got so much stuff that I forgot.
That's not a problem.
Most people will ever remember.
But I'm just wondering if somebody screws up in Tennessee, and that obviously is in the direct line of what North Carolina was given as its purview.
Right.
So how would that be treated today? I mean, would somebody be necessarily answerable to North Carolina?
I have no idea because no one's done it. No one has ever put this into practice, into any court session or anything within that.
But the language as it was, as
right.
They were,
mm-hmm.
That refers back to this 18th century.
Yeah, the 18th century maps that we got, because when we got them, we bought them up and we asked for the present day maps. Well, naturally, it shows you the states like you see on any map, in boundaries. But it doesn't list the boundaries, the meets and bounds, like it's supposed to.
Okay.
They talk about governments and everything, and education. I don't see it in.
Well, that's all right.
But even Fraudbuster went down and talked to the attorney down in the governor's office. And he threw the Constitution down. He says, "Can you define what this is for me?" And he looked at it and he started laughing. He says, "I never saw this." That means that this idiot in the governor's office, DHE, never picked up the Constitution and looked at it.
Well, what does that say about the Constitution?
It's worthless.
And what exactly is running them then?
They're running off of the private corporation. Willy-nilly, whatever the law says, that's what it is.
And yet we do have, as far as I can understand, you're telling me that for the most part, even with the state government, you're running with two different state governments.
Sure. Yes.
And they show you one and they got another.
Uh-huh.
What's another example, if you could think of one, where one runs into that kind of in the matrix, outside the matrix?
Generally everywhere. There was an email that was on today, and I responded to the guy. And he's talking about the Constitution.
Did you send that to me today?
I think it was down in Texas. the key words. Now, the guy got a letter, and it was from the Department of Texas Public Safety, and it was April 21st, and the person wrote to him about a driver's license thing, and he says, this is from the manager of the DMV. And it says, this is in response to your correspondence dated March 27th, 2006, concerning the issuance of your Texas driver's license. Please accept my sincere apology for the inconvenience you have experienced in obtaining your Texas driver's license. It is not the intent of the Department of Public Safety to make this process a difficult one. The department recognizes the essential need, now listen to this carefully now, the essential need of the citizens of this state to obtain a driver license and seeks to be efficient on all customer-based services. All right? Well, then she goes in and says, please accept my apology for any inconvenience and all this and da-da-da-da. And that you applied for your Texas driver license. We fail to recognize that your signature does not meet our standards. We cannot accept this signature with the additional statement, all rights reserved, printed under your signature. Therefore, we need to recapture another signature for your driver's license. We would like to schedule an appointment for you at the driver's license office of your choice. So I wrote back to the guy and I says, okay, I find the key words used to deny you the reservation. Now this is hard to swallow, but it's a fact. Here are the words to key in on from your letter. Quote, the department recognizes the essential need of the citizens of this state to obtain blah, 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 blah. This state is a corporate private state and is not the original state. The next is citizen of. Since a citizen belongs to the private corporate entity of this state, they can deny the rights reservation and demand just your signature. I once had a judge tell me and others that he could not give us what we wanted with reservations attached. He said it's impossible to give rights already granted. Of course, granted is the citizen's permission to do what the state allows. Mm-hmm. It's not an inherent right. So they're very clever in their terms used. It goes right over people's heads as to words and what they mean to them in their realm.
Well, you can understand why.
Something else, it isn't. It's what they say it is.
But I mean, you can understand why people would obviously be hoodwinked by this.
Yeah. And now, there's a case that I got, and I told him, and I can't recall it, and I have it buried away in tons of paper from 1933 that says in the caption, and it's a federal case, you can have your cake and eat it too with reference to the UCC 1207. And it was a federal case. Now, to understand, I've posted this about 50 times, and it was that under the 1933 War Powers Act, every state had to comport with the federal act and recognize every state that would be uniform throughout the country, and that was at the ATG Press. It is www.atgpress.com/inform/GOV046. That's 046, I don't know,
right.
.htm. And they click on that, and they'll go right in to see what the term is of this state, and this is what we found in the archives in Raleigh.
Well, I mean, again, with these lawyers, are they aware of the duality of the state?
No,
probably
a lot
not,
of them
right?
are just dumb as a bump on a log. But once you get above, you get into the Attorney General's office, they know. All the courts know. All the law professors know because they teach this crap. And the lower echelon are just dumb. They just like clerks. They told what to do, when to do it, told to shut up by the judge because he rules them in court. And he has to follow what the judge says, and he can't do it on his own. And if he does, he's disbarred.
Well, What chance does anybody really have in court?
None. Really. I mean, a lot of people say I'm a defeatist. No, I'm talking reality.
Oh, okay.
I've been in the courts since 1980, well, actually 1976 when I won my first traffic case. But I've lost a lot, and I've won a few. And the big cases, you will never win on the big cases like Samankin and Schiff and all them. I mean, you know, they ain't going to admit we're right. And kill the goose that lays the golden egg for them. So anything of major importance